in January the 22nd, I guess the Lord had me in the right place, the right time, with the right commitment. I was president of the Selma City Teachers Association. And then we had agreed that, and I persuaded teachers for the first time to engage in a teachers' march. And so we agreed, after they signed their names to a petition, that we were going to march as a teacher group. And so on January 22nd, we met at Clark Elementary School here, which was the school where I attended the first grade through the sixth grade. We met upstairs, and we marched up a file. My partner was my 10th, 11th, and 12th grade science teacher. His name was Mr. A.J. Durgan. He was the incoming president of the Selma City Teachers Association. And we led that march, teachers, for the first time in the United States, coming down the steps of Clark Elementary School, down Lawn Street, down to Alabama Avenue, down to the courthouse. Teachers, for the first time. Getting down to the county courthouse, that was standing next to the steps, the superintendent of education, the chairman of the board of education, to persuade me, because I was a teacher, to take the teachers back to the school, because we had made a point, and that no longer should we try to pursue that right from that particular point. And I told them we had a right to be at the county courthouse. It was our courthouse. We were not backing down from our right to be there. And I asked the superintendent and the chairman of the board, who signed my check, to step aside. We went up those steps. Jim Clark had his deputies across the door, and he indicated that we were trying to make a mockery out of his courthouse. And we indicated to him that that was our courthouse also. He gave us 1 minute to move off of those steps. At the expiration of that minute, he took the billy club and jabbed us down the steps on the sidewalk. And my partner, Mr. A.J. Durgan, who, as I said, was my teacher, he was not quite used to that stuff like I was. And he asked me on the ground, he said, "What shall we do?" I said, "We are going back." He said, Yeah. And so we went back the second time. We jabbed down the steps after a minute, and he asked me the same question. I gave him the same answer, and he gave me the same response. The third time, when I really was trying to get all the teachers arrested, because teachers were not aware of the tremendous influence. They were the largest black professional group here in Dallas County. And so after going back the third time, he said, "If you don't go up these steps," Jim Clark said, "we're going to arrest you." I said to myself, "Exactly what I want you to do." And so at about 45 seconds before that minute expired, someone on the inside of the courthouse came and pulled him on the inside of the courthouse door and said, I didn't go in there with him, but I can imagine what they told him. "For goodness sake, don't arrest those teachers."
All right, all right. Welcome to the Lineage Podcast. We are live. We appreciate y'all for joining us today. It is a rainy day, but it's still a wonderful day. We are here. We are the grandsons of the Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese, MJ and Alan Reese. We are here every Thursday, once again, on the Lineage Podcast. Got a great show lined up for you guys today. Please subscribe to the YouTube and hit the bell, hit the notification button. We're going to have a lot of good things coming up. We appreciate everybody that's been subscribing. I know that we're starting a movement here, and we appreciate everybody's participation. It really means a lot to us. This is our fourth week? It's our fourth week going on this series. And we've had a lot of praises. Shout out to Mrs. Aline C. Reese. She calls us every week after the show and say she appreciates us and she's proud of us. So we don't take that lightly coming from the queen herself.
91.
She's 91 years old, and she'll be 92 next February, Lord willing. So today we are discussing. Hold on, let me pay some bills. Y'all purchase Selma Self-Sacrifice. It is on Amazon. That is the autobiography of Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese, written by himself and the lovely Mrs. Kathy Walters. Please, if you want to donate to the Frederick D. Reese Foundation, that is fdreesefoundation.org. And we appreciate, we did a tour 2 weeks ago, and we appreciate the donation by the couple. I had their name written down, and I misplaced it. But the tours have been great, man. People have been really learning about Granddad, and they have really been in awe about the missing piece of the movement that they didn't know about. And they're taken back to their home of New York and New Orleans and Pennsylvania and Philadelphia. All the people that we tour that's coming from around the nation, they're taking a piece of history back with them, some knowledge. And coming up, we're going to try to do more things with people that does the tour. Also, what am I missing? Book, foundation. I guess that's about it. Today's show is Local Power. We named this Local Power. We want to highlight some of Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese's accomplishments in the local city, local county of Dallas County in Selma, Alabama, throughout the years. Mm-hmm. He actually made impact before he was born in Selma. He left to teach and came back to Selma, still teaching. Taught in Wilcox County. That's where he met Grandma, right?
Yes, sir.
That's where he met Grandma. Yeah, met Grandma there, and came back to Selma, continued to teach, and continue to make a major impact throughout the city. So we'll highlight on that, and we also want to show how your local voice can impact the nation.
That's right.
And so it started with Granddaddy doing local things that really got the attention of the local people in Selma, which then translated to Dr. King coming and John Lewis Sneak and SCLC coming, and he impacted the nation. He couldn't have done that without the local power. Go ahead, bro.
Right. No, go ahead. No,
so that's what we want to illustrate, and even in your life, don't think that it always has to be big. Start small. Start small. You'll make a good impact. That you can't build nothing without foundation.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Small beginnings turn into big finishes.
That's right. What's going on, Bill? Oh, that's what I wanted to say. If you want to see the show how it is, and you want to see all the bells and whistles, go to YouTube.
I want to tell all my followers, they call me Carter. Go to YouTube. The young lady who just came in on my Instagram, go to YouTube, go to the Lineage Podcast, and you can really see the format of the show very well if you do that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we paid all the bills and we got all the business out the way. So let's get into the show. Let's talk about local power. What are some things we can go down the list about Granddaddy, which we can do this for years to impact the local movement and his hometown.
Mm-hmm.
Or we can name a few things. He wasn't by himself.
That's right.
I gotta say
right.
that
he had some folks.
He wasn't by himself. He had his team with him, and they really got behind him, and they were a strong team.
But let's be honest, man.
Go ahead.
In life, you always have a team.
Got to.
Even Christ had 12 disciples.
Facts.
You can't do it by yourself.
Facts.
That was a fact. F.D. Reese didn't do it by himself. He was just the leader.
Right. The leader. And that's all. That's pretty much all we were saying. We've been saying he was the leader, but he couldn't have done it by himself. No one can do it by himself. You got to have a team. One of the peculiar things that I know that he did was two things for me. I know you like to touch on what he did on July the 4th weekend in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
But what I like about Granddaddy was the early two things, especially reading the book. I really it really highlighted. One thing was the maternity leave.
That's right.
For Black females.
Yeah, the Me Too movement would love him today.
Yeah, he was the Me. He was
the fact the Me Too movement to learn more about him.
Correct. The black teachers weren't getting paternity leave when they were having babies.
That's right.
They were bearing children, and the white sisters were getting it.
That's right.
But our black queens were not.
He recognized.
And he recognized that, and Granddad, he thought it was unfair, which it was. And they said in the book, he would go to the meeting every single time they put something on the floor. Day after day after day after day, he would stand up and talk about how the black women were not getting treated right with the paternity leave.
That's right. And but remember, he did that in Wilcox County first.
Right.
This is why because he was the president of the Teachers Association in Wilcox County.
Correct.
Then when he moved back to Selma, Alabama, because they knew the work he did in Wilcox County, they submitted to him and voted him in as the president of the Selma Teachers Association. So This is why he had the authority and the power to be able to stand up and speak on these issues during the meeting.
Facts. And anytime you see an issue, I submit to anybody, man. Anytime you see an issue, no matter the workplace, family, anywhere, speak up, man. Do the right thing. And so Granddaddy did that countless of times in his life. We can go down the list. And one more thing I want to mention was the maternity leave and the doctor's office. Now, integrated the doctor's office. Now, he needed help of Mama Perkins for this one. She was on this side, and shout out to the Perkins family, man. We can go on about them. That's a whole nother legacy right there.
Yes,
just to be honest, man. But Mama Perkins, Miss Etta Perkins, she was very instrumental.
Because she was a nurse in Selma.
She was a nurse in Selma.
That's right.
And what they were doing, they were calling the black women by their first name. So, for example, if a black woman come in there, grandma name was Aline. Well, grandma name is Aline. When they needed her to call her back, they would just say Aline.
Yeah, so disrespectful.
Right, and they would say it in a tone that was disrespectful. But when they called the white sisters, they would call her Mrs. and whatever her last name was, Mrs. Jones. And I think Granddaddy was in office. Grandma was pregnant with
my dad.
We're pregnant with Daddy. That's right. Pregnant with Daddy. They went to office. They called Aline. Well, they probably said Aileen because a lot of people they get grandma name. They mess it up a little bit. Which it's all good. Short A, long A. We can kind of deal with that, correct that. But then they were disrespecting. They said Aline and Aileen. Grandma was going to get up. Granddaddy put his hand out. Enough is enough. So he went to the window and said, "You will respect my wife, and her name is Mrs. Reese. Mrs. Reese, and you will address her as such." And then they said, like in the book, I've read the book 5 or 6 times. Said they called her expeditiously after he did that because what they didn't want no ruckus in the lobby of the.
When we talk about this story, grandma said she's the hate. Because she knew when he went up there, he was gonna start some mess.
Exactly. She's a hate going to him going with her. Like, dang, he going with me. It's gonna be some problems in here. But in hindsight, man, that was the right thing to do.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? He stood up not only for his wife and the mother of his children, but he stood up for all the women that would come after that.
That's right.
And from then on, they had to address our black sisters and black queens as they addressed our white sisters.
Man, do you see how racism and white supremacy will have you thinking? Those that remember, they consider us 3/5 of a human.
Of a human, correct.
And racism and when you think that you're superior,
right,
they have you thinking that you're right.
Correct.
Think about
you're right.
That they thought they was right to treat people in that manner.
Ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, man. And think about today, the people, some of them still have that same mindset. Not all.
That's real.
I disagree with the notion when people say all white people are racist. I
disagree
with that all day.
Because we know some.
I've had some white people that has gone to bat for us with this legacy more than our own.
Correct.
But that does not that does not give us the right not to talk about the white supremacy in the mindset. You can say it's a mindset, you can say it's a spirit, you can say whatever you want to say. But what we know is that it is real.
That's right.
And these individuals still have this mindset today.
Forget. Auntie Fifi said they definitely have that mindset.
You're
100% right, man. You're 100% right. So I know. Before we go to a little commercial, you can expound on Walmart a little bit, and then we come back. We'll get in the hot topic.
Walmart. They boycott. A lot of people don't know. We just had the 4th of July, but in Selma, Alabama, the reason you go in Walmart today and you see blacks as cashiers, managers, general managers, is because of Selma, Alabama. This is another part in history that history does not share with you. But in 1980, I think in 1982, Selma, Alabama boycotted Walmart on the weekend of the 4th of July. They made the executive leave Arkansas and fly down on a private jets to what we call Craig Field in Selma, Alabama, and sit down with F.D. Reese, Marie Foster, and the individuals who had led a boycott to get black people. See, one thing about it, when we talk about change, black people held their money from Walmart. See that dollar, that old mighty dollar. Shall we talk about it? It has some power. And it carries some weight. So what they did, they boycotted Walmart. They held their money, and it made those executives come to Selma and say, "Hold on, Dr. Reverend Reese, can you please call the dogs off? We will from this point on hire blacks as cashiers and managers and so on, and make sure blacks move up in this corporation." So today, all over the nation, you see blacks moving up in Walmart. It's because of Selma, Alabama. So if I have some people who work for Walmart and you work in a place of authority and you're black, man, learn about F.D. Reese, man, because they stuck their neck out. They held their dollar for us for Walmart to do right by black people.
Facts.
I must say that.
Facts. 100% facts. And everything he just said was 100% real. We're going to go to a little commercial. When we come back, we're going to discuss hot topics. Got good hot topics for you. My brother kind of made some people mad over his hot topics. So we're going to get into that when we come back.
I persuaded teachers for the first time to engage in a teachers' march. And so we agreed that we were going to march.
Nice.
First of all, serving notice on our nation. It's Dr. Frederick Douglass Reese.
We march. We march. We march.
He said, "What shall we do?" I said, "We are going back." He said, Yeah.
All right. We're back. We appreciate y'all joining us. Appreciate everybody checking in. Once again, we got to say, if you want to see the show, how we see it, and how it is with all the bells and whistles, please go to YouTube, the Lineage Podcast. If you need the link, hit us up. We'll send it to you. Yes, so let's get into this hot topic, man. I know over the last few days, you did a short on our channel.
Boy, I had some folks mad at me.
My brother did a short, and he showed the difference of two scenarios. One is Mr. Jalen Walker, I'll show you a picture of him. This is the young man that police fatally shot 60 times.
Mm-hmm.
Shot him 60 times. I know many people have seen this video, horrific video, man. He was on the ground and they shot him. That's him. And this guy here is Mr. Lance Stores.
They gave him a whooping. What?
Yeah, they just beat him
He's still
down.
living.
But he is still living. Now, this guy here killed 2 police officers.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll let bro kind of expound on the difference of Mr. Jalen Walker and Mr. Lance Stores here.
Well, yes, I shared this as a short on YouTube, man. I had some folks mad at me. It got about 2.6 thousand views in a amount of 5-6 hours. But what I would say is that the difference between the mindset and the approach. And my thing was when I was going back and forth, because I had some white individuals who was coming at me about this, saying that I was trying to race bait and all that. I guess they don't know. They might want to Google where we come from.
Yeah.
And tell me I was making money off race bait and all that.
Oh my God.
So, but you know me, MJ, I don't argue with emotion.
Mm-hmm.
I care less about your emotions.
Right.
I bring facts.
Mm-hmm.
And when I bring facts, it quiets the storm. And so what I love to do, I don't just talk about what happened. I like to go to the root and start how was the mindset created?
Mm-hmm.
Now, and what I do is this: the mindset of the difference between how law enforcement approaches the young black male and how law enforcement approaches the young white male. We have to go back when we came out of slavery after the Emancipation of Proclamation. And see, the 13th Amendment, remember the 13th Amendment says that they free slaves unless, you commit a crime. So what it did, it transferred slavery from a private citizen to the corporation of the states. Okay, so now what you have when you free the slaves, and slaves is out there free, how you get the jails, and when you talk about we are only 13% of the population, and we are 65% of the ones in the jailhouse.
Man.
Okay, this is structurally done by design.
That's right. That's
on
right.
purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happened was when you freed them, what happened, they were doing little petty stuff, getting drunk and all this. So what you do, you lock them up, put them on a chain gang for a long period of time. So you had law enforcement was created off the backs of catching slaves that were just free.
You spitting facts.
These are facts. If you don't like what I'm saying, go back and learn your American history. Right. Because this is not black history. This is American history. Mm-hmm. So what happened was they started locking slaves up for the longest to fill up the jails to get this free labor. Mm-hmm. Because even today, when you locked up in the state, but you get paid 15 cents an hour. You know what I'm saying? So the free labor. So the mindset of law enforcement towards blacks and whites were created in that manner. Okay, right. Now they remember when they freed the slaves, they sent white people to the shows. That's what they call them, the shows, and they had the blackface. If you don't understand where the blackface come from, you got to understand that they sent white folks to the shows, and what they did, they made black people look like they were demons, like we were subpar human, that we were gonna rape their women, we were gonna kidnap their kids, we were gonna destroy them. So the slaves went from being submissive and beaten to submissive to people who are gonna endanger you and gonna kill you. Think about that. Right. The mindset. We're gonna talk about the mindset. Right. How do we get here to this point? Right. And I know I'm kind of long with on this, but going. I want to paint this picture for you. Right. There you go. I want to paint this picture for you. And so what I mean is that, so what happened was they started locking blacks up. They portrayed us as being this villain. So now what you have law enforcement, and one young man said that the situation was different because they was able to negotiate the white man and stop shooting after he had killed 2 officers. I said, but blacks don't get to the point. Now you got some blacks who have shot and killed officers, but remember we're on 13 population. Remember, and it's barely with the whites and blacks that die. It's only a few more whites that get killed by law enforcement than blacks. But we on the 13% of the population, and white people are 75% of the population.
Wow.
So who's getting killed more?
Wow, man. Yeah.
Yeah, if you count numbers, whites are getting killed more by numbers, but we like to go by percentages.
Yeah, it's higher rate with us.
But the higher rate is with us.
Correct.
Let's not go by numbers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So what I'm saying, the black people don't even get a chance to negotiate.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying?
Facts.
We don't get a chance to even negotiate.
We've seen it. We've seen it hundreds of times, y'all. I just say in my lifetime, I've seen it.
And I explained to him how the way I was raised is a reason why I'm probably alive today, because I've been racially profiled so many times in Clayton County, in DeKalb County.
Mm-hmm.
Officers pulling me over, searching my car unlawfully. But my dad taught me one thing coming up is that it's better that you cannot have court on the side of the road.
That's right. Dad always said that.
He taught us that. He taught us that. Because guess what? He taught us that my right to live is more important than my American citizen rights.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But when we come to the difference between how law enforcement treat blacks, automatically they feel like they got to be on edge because they have been taught the mindset that we are more confrontational.
Correct.
And that is not true.
Correct.
This is why you spend time, you can negotiate a mass shooter who done shot up how many kids, how many white boys done shot up these schools,
Mm-hmm.
and you done negotiate them to put their hands up. But a black dude, he can tell you he on and he cool, and guess what? You automatically get fearful and you shoot up the car.
Yeah, man.
With his kids in it.
Right.
How many times?
That's right.
Because of the mindset, bro.
Mm-hmm.
The mindset.
It's the mindset is indoctrined into that. And then another thing, like going back to Mr. Jalen Walker, God bless his soul. Now, was he wrong for running from the police?
Yes,
of course. And when we speak on these things, it's just not we don't want to hold him accountable for his actions.
That's right.
But at the same time, I think a lot of the times we see in situations like these, police officers are overreacting when it comes to us with the melanin in our skin. And that man was on the ground. And I'll say this for you. You can hear the rage in the cop's voice when he was chasing him. The body cam, you can hear he was already, it didn't matter what that boy did.
And I've been in that situation. I'll never forget. You was out staying at near Mom's house.
Okay.
Clayton County.
Okay.
I'm coming back down Terry Boulevard. Now, they pulled me over by the Bank of America coming down Terry Boulevard.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was in the truck.
Yeah.
Okay, I was in the truck. They said that a truck looked like mine had just robbed someone. An officer there told me to put my hands out the car. I did. Put your hands out the car. Let me see your license. Put your hands out the car. I said, look, sir, my license is in my back pocket, in my wallet. But you could see the rage in his eyes. He was ready to shoot me.
Mm-hmm.
One of the officers, I thank God for this officer. This officer stopped him and said, he's not the guy.
Mm.
He's not the guy. Calm down. At 17 years old, I'm afraid of my life.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm afraid for my life. This happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just saying, and one of the things they said this, and one of the person who comment, he said that, well, you can't put all officers in the box, but what I can say, you remember the saying of grandmama the elder, one bad apple spoils the whole tree? If the bad apples in the police force don't start snitching on these officers, they know that's a part of white supremacy. They know they have racist hearts. If they don't start snitching on them, the whole force is gonna look. We're gonna look at them as all of them are bad.
Correct.
Because they don't speak against them. Because one apple spoils the whole tree.
That's facts. 100% facts.
So why they don't go with law enforcement?
Right.
Why we gotta individualize them? No, sir.
Mm-hmm.
No, sir.
Mm-hmm. And then sometimes it seems like they get frustrated when you know your rights.
Oh yes.
And you handle yourself accordingly in a real, grown like manner. And they get beside themselves. They don't like that. And so with Jalen Walker, man, that was ridiculous. And like you said, Lance Stores, he got a beating.
They whooped him behind.
They whooped him.
But I already be beat. than lose my life.
Right. But he got beat after he killed 2 officers.
After he killed 2 officers.
And my man got shot 60 times running away. And when he hit the ground, they probably put 30 more.
They shot at him 90 times.
Yeah.
They hit him 60.
Hit him 60.
And then they still handcuffed him. Come on, man. Come on. You treat him like an animal. Come on. If you agree with that type of if you agree with their actions, something wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
Something wrong with you, man.
Mm-hmm.
Black, white, brown, red, purple.
Right.
Something is wrong with you.
Facts.
Something is wrong that you have to, when someone says something about this instance, say, oh, that's not the same. The mindset. Learn your American history. Well, see what it is, MJ. We do not have enough white people knowing their American history. They only know the white side of American history. Mm-hmm. They don't know both sides. You tell them to go look at a documentary on the 13th documentary. They don't want to learn about that. Mm-hmm. You tell them to go learn about Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Black Wall Street, how that was burnt down. They don't want to learn about that.
Right.
Then you talk about critical race theory. You don't want to teach that. Now, only thing about critical race theory, I don't want them to weaponize it, but you don't want your kids to know.
Right.
About, Texas just had to shoot down a law that they was trying to say that instead of calling it slavery, they called it involuntary relocation.
I saw that, man.
What kind of mess is that?
Ridiculous.
And people agree with this mess. So if you agree with that, you have white supremacy. Mm-hmm. You are racist.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Simple as that. It's nothing. That's just a God honest truth.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to go to your barbecues and your churches and all that and tell the truth to your people. It's nothing else black people can say to you. The white people who disagree with racism and white supremacy, you got to go talk to your own folks.
Facts.
It ain't our job no more.
Facts, man. Let's touch on another hot topic today. It's kind of in my lane. Now I know everybody's seen this young lady here.
Oh Lord.
We kind of late to the party. We talking about it, and this is the gentleman here. We'll just touch on this a little bit. But if you don't know, this young lady and this young man had a child together. His son is the youngest son.
Okay.
And she has 4 children, so 3 are older. He was trying to bring his son some McDonald's. They used to date, and her thing was when they dated, he used to feed all the children.
Okay.
But now he's trying to feed his son.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can go either way with that. Some people say he should have got some McDonald's for all of them, whatever the case is. Some people say she could have cashed out and say, hey, no, I know you're picking your son up some, but here go, $20 more. And can you get all of them Happy Meals, whatever the case is? Okay. Cool. I get that. You can go on both sides with that. It is what it is. One thing I disagree with when he said, well, if you don't want the kids to feel a certain type of way, let my son come to the car. He can, chill with me, eat with me. Cool. She didn't want to do that. So it was kind of about her and how she didn't want her kids to feel bad. But, my personal opinion was a little bit more about her. But what I want to touch is something bigger. My stance is this is what they want us to portray.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
This is what they want us to portray. The dysfunction of black family.
Oh, yes, sir.
This is exactly what they want to see. Mm-hmm. And guess what happens? We entertain.
We entertain every time.
We entertain it every single time.
We love talking about things that no substance.
We entertain it every single time. Now, what I will say, it has to be talked about. And it has to be talked about not just from the stance of, girl, you see that? He wrong for that, or she wrong for that, or they could have did this. Not from a drama standpoint. Mm-hmm. Let's go more from an intellectual standpoint and a history standpoint.
Okay.
This is exactly what the MO was when they wanted to take the black man out the home. Mm-hmm. This is the result of that. And then what happens is now this young lady here. Now this is a picture of her. This is not the same day. This is after she got all the backlash and she went in her car a few days later. And and she wanted to kind of clarify. But this is just my opinion. In her clarification, it made it worse. Mm-hmm. because everybody was looking at, okay, she had the nails on, she got the nice wig on, she got the eyelashes on. Okay, you got on $200 worth of stuff here, maybe more. And you aren't saying anything about your children. You could have shot them some McDonald's or anything like that. But like I said, this is how they want it. It goes back to they promote violence. They like to promote violence with our music. They like to see gangster rap. They like to see over 60% of us that's incarcerated are African American. They like to see the dysfunction in families. They want to see more single mothers, and guess what? They incentivize that by the court systems and the welfare systems and everything. Now, do some women need help like that? Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Right. But at the same time, they have incentivized it so good that some women abuse it. Then they have a mindset of they feel like that it's supposed to happen. They are entitled to it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the stance. My take with that, as far as the McDonald's, man, it's not about the McDonald's with me, because it could have been anything.
Well, how they portray black women today, man. You know, I always say this: the Claire Huxtable is not awarded anymore. It's not.
That's true.
Harriet Winslow is not awarded.
Facts.
That woman is at the bottom of the barrel.
Right.
If you don't have a story, the woman that married young, built something with a family, this and that, and what the word that is a curse to a lot of women today has been submissive to their husband. Whatever, however you feel like being submissive is, that woman is not recognized today.
She's not recognized as strong.
As strong anymore.
Right.
She is not the cornerstone of the black family anymore.
Yeah, she's not the model, right? Citizen.
She's not the Coretta Scott King and the Aline.
Right.
Is not the person they look up to, because remember, Megan Thee Stallion got an NAACP Image Award. That's exactly how they want your young daughters to act, like Megan Thee Stallion does. You look at the lady, the senator in Virginia, who is a senator or House of Representatives. I forgot who she is, but she's out there twerking for votes. Think about it.
Twerking for votes.
A black woman out there showing her butt, twerking for votes. That's what they want the women to portray, the black women. You get what I'm saying? You don't see nobody else twerking for votes. That's a crime shame. You know what I'm saying? What the powers that be, how they allow black women to be portrayed. And in this season, black women have the authority to control the image on how black women are portrayed.
Man, bro, you just said a mouthful.
That's just real talk.
You just said a mouthful. But what the problem is, and we ain't gonna touch on it too long. You know, this is God day. But the problem is, women have this code where the wives, the model wives, the model citizens, the model women. See, back in the day, grandma used to tell you, you need to pull that skirt down. You need to do this. Auntie used to tell you that, right?
What they used to call you, they call you.
You're smelling yourself. You're acting fast. They'll tell you.
And you ain't talk back to grandma.
You ain't talk back to grandma.
Just
yes, ma'am.
Yes, man. Keep moving
and keep on moving.
Nowadays, you can't tell them.
You can't. And see, that's and that's part of the problem. Now women are on this code, and I think the Me Too movement has something to do with it a little bit. Now women have this code where they feel like if they tell another woman something, that it's almost like they down talking.
Yeah, because we are in I disagree with what world we in now. We in the world that don't tell me nothing about how I need to act. It's almost like I can't stand people say they got these bad kids, and you can't tell their kids nothing, but they won't do nothing with their kids.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing now. You out here, and what you putting out is not good for what you say you're about the black agenda. Well, me personally, if you're about the black agenda, you can't be about the black agenda but without being about the black family.
You
first.
You can't.
When we as black people put the black family first, we got further. This is why after the civil rights movement, the government main job was to tear down the black family. Slavery couldn't tear them down.
Right.
Jim Crow couldn't tear
Tear
them
'em down,
down.
right.
So we got to find something
Mhm.
that can tear the black family down. And they were
Mhm.
successful.
Yes.
They were successful.
Because they knew with a strong man in that house,
Mhm.
it's going to be a little bit more structure. So what can we do? We're going to incentivize
Mhm.
getting the man out.
That's right.
So woman, you can have this money, you can have this help, you can have this finance, you can have all of this on under one condition.
You don't have the black man in there.
You can't
And
have a
then
man.
another thing they taught, and I always say this, when you go back to affirmative action.
Yeah.
Affirmative action benefit white women more than anybody because
That's
they will
correct.
consider a minority,
Mhm.
right? It's supposed to benefit the black men,
Mhm.
but it benefited the white woman, but the white woman went and grabbed the black woman.
Right.
Okay, but what the white woman did, and the people could disagree with me, you can agree with me.
Yeah,
what
whatever.
the white woman did with her elevation, and she understood her man was still working in the factories and this and that.
Mhm.
When she became a nurse, doctor, this and that, and they sent her through school, or she grew in the corporation, she chose wealth for her family instead of independence.
Correct.
So what they taught a lot of black women, I ain't gonna say most,
Mhm.
a lot of black women, because see, we are different. We got some different women. We got
Yeah.
Aline and Correct Scott King at the house.
Right.
But what I see out there is that a lot of black women, they'll say, well, I'm educated. Now I won't date that forklift driver.
Right. I won't date the trash man.
I won't date the truck driver. Well, these truck drivers make money, baby.
But they still no. But listen, what you're saying, you point on something right.
Yeah.
It's just not the occupation. It's what the occupation is.
That's right. That's right. And so,
Yeah.
you know, the image of the occupation.
Right.
So now that's what you have. So now I'm independent.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I expect to have this certain type of man. If this corporate woman, I need a corporate man.
Right.
That's not always so.
Even if the trash man making
80 grand.
I don't want him.
I don't want him because he's a trash guy. How can I go in my corporate with my corporate colleagues?
Right.
And they ask my man what he
do?
For
Sanitation.
I work for the sanitation for the Cobb County. And there's nothing wrong with that.
That sanitation paying all the bills.
And he's a good man.
Right.
He's a good man.
Right.
So
right.
we separate us, and MJ, it starts with the mind.
That's right,
The
man.
mindset.
That's
we gotta
right.
change our mindset. Now, don't get me wrong, black men during the day, we drop the ball.
Yeah.
Unfaithfulness, one of the biggest things
Yeah.
that hurt the black woman. Let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Right.
We sorry.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Forgive us.
Right.
But let's move. One thing about first mayor of Selma, Alabama, Pastor Perkins.
Mm-hmm.
He always say, "Where do we go from here?"
Right.
Now at this point,
right.
Now, how do we move from here?
How we move on?
Are we gonna stay talking about the past? Or we gonna say, "Okay, black man, black woman, I forgive you. Let's move forward."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But what's important is, let me tell you something. The stronger the black people are together, the stronger the family is, the more dangerous we are.
Mm-hmm. It's like I agree with Tank when he said what he said. The threat isn't violence.
It ain't.
The threat is our love, man.
Our love, man.
When we together,
we powerful.
Man.
Think about the gangster rap. Think about all these rappers getting these big deals. You got more rappers big in there than anybody. All of them, because they doing their parts, bro. They doing their part. Lil Thug and doing their part. we keep on promoting, robbing. And there's another thing I wanted to say. You know, when you go to school, they ask you a question. They say, "What you want to be in life?" You say, "Man, I want to be a football player." I remember my wife always telling me the story about Marcus McNeil. He told his teacher in Chapel Hill Elementary, "I want to play professional football." I got doggy, he did.
Yeah.
But they'll tell you statistically, you playing football is probably not going to happen. Are you playing baseball? Are you playing basketball?
In the professional, the percentages is ridiculous.
They need to stop doing that. Let's start saying that when they say they want to be a rapper, I guarantee you my chance of playing football, baseball, basketball is better than me being a gangster rapper and a thug and making it out the street.
Of course.
Let's start talking about that.
Yeah.
Let's start talking about that. Forget it. They want to play sports. Let them play.
Yeah.
Leave them alone.
Yeah. Let them go get
you
that.
You want to be a street? You want to do what? Oh, no, the statistics say, man, you're going to get killed.
Right.
Or you're going to go to jail.
Right.
Or your life going to be hard. Or you're going to get hooked on some type of substance that is going to imbalance your mind. And you're going to be walking around here with schizophrenic, bipolar, or anything else.
That's right. It's real.
No, these are the things the church. That's why I say the church is not the cornerstone of the black community no more. Because the church don't do this.
Mm-hmm.
We active. The church go out there in the community when it's already gone. But when the city council them, when they judging on all the liquor stores around in the neighborhood and got 5 liquor stores, 6 liquor stores down County Road or down Flat Shoals, what the church had to say? No, we don't want that in our neighborhood.
Right. Exactly.
Well, I look at and nothing against Creflo Dollar, but let's take World Trade as Old National.
Mm-hmm.
Old National is one of the most drug-infested prostitution streets in Georgia. Where is the church when they put all these businesses up?
Mm-hmm. Right. Facts.
Come on.
Facts.
Nowhere to be found.
Mm-hmm. Got to come together, man.
Because guess what? Poverty. I'm gonna say this.
Mm-hmm.
Poverty is just like the government makes money off people doing drugs and people not being law-abiding citizens.
Mm-hmm.
The church make money off and get your tithe and get money to say we put money in the community to really go get the sick and help those people when that's how they get their funds.
Mm-hmm.
Would it really benefit the church to really stop that from happening?
It would. It really would. It really would. Got to come together, man. And that's just not one category. That's in all. As you can see, we talked about Jalen Walker and how the police, how they shot him and did him, and how straight up contradictory to our counterparts. And then with the McDonald's situation, man, how they want to see dysfunction. They want to see the black man and the black woman at odds. They want to see that. So what we have to do is come together, man. And that's why we kind of want to do these hot topics, because we want to show you how our granddaddy's story and how his life was and compared to today's time, and show you how even back then it's still relatable. Mm-hmm. The stuff that they went through is still relatable today. Sometimes it may just it's the same face but a different nose. It's the same face but the eyebrows a little different. And so we got to be keen enough to be able to see that. Hey, back then they were saying you ain't got the right to vote. They were changing the test. You was trying to learn the answer to the test, and they were changing your face, right? Mm-hmm. Now they want to see us at odds. They want to see more single mothers. Mm-hmm. They want to see this. They want to see more of us locked up. So it's the same face, y'all.
Same face. Man, turn your phones off when you're arguing with your significant other. Your baby
Thanks.
dad, baby mama. Stop recording this mess. You know what I'm saying? Stop visually recording it. If you want to record it through audio, if something go wrong, you want to take the court, you can court, okay. But stop putting this stuff on social media.
Right. If you're gonna record it, then record, like, for instance, I'm not against, recording, or like you say, audio if there's a domestic dispute, so you can kind of, okay, I get it. But that's private.
But these nonsense,
right?
Come on, social media.
Facts.
Learn how to close the doors and work and argue and work things out behind the scenes.
Well, what it was, she thought she was going to expose him, because that's the word she used. I'm exposing you. But what she really did, expose herself. And then in the grand finale, expose the dysfunction of us, man, as a people, man. We got to stop that.
And then I got to say this. For my white individuals, stop using those that right there to tell your community, see, black folks don't know how to act. Don't take that one instant and take that to your community and then say, oh, this is how black people act. This is why people don't want them in the community and don't want this and that.
Right.
Something wrong with you. You take one instance. What if I took one instance and said all y'all like that?
Yeah.
And I just got on here and said, oh, white people ain't racist. I never thought that.
Never thought that.
You know what I'm saying? That's just real talk.
Fact.
So, but at the same time, like I just said, stop taking this to your community. Because that's not right. If you take that incident of McDonald's to your community and say, this is how black people act, you're racist.
Right.
Because you know that's not how black folks act.
Right.
And black folks start arguing behind closed doors. Stop trying to expose people on social media. This stuff shouldn't be on Facebook and on Instagram.
Right.
Come on, your kids can see this years. When y'all make up, your kids can go see this crazy.
That you done went viral.
You done went viral on some dumb stuff. Come on,
crazy.
Man. Change your mindset.
Facts. What I got to do, what I do every show, what we do every show, man. Like, if there's new people watching. So we got to go down the list to show you why we do what we do. It's just not about, we love the community. We want to see our community do better as a whole. A lot of people, they hit us up. They like our mindsets. You know what I'm saying? And when we have different things and different things to offer, different things that we say, it's because of that. But we'll show you where we come from, and we show you what our main focus is, and our mission is to get Granddad's get his name out there in the books. We got a little audience here, just help us out a little bit. The reasoning for the young lady, for the angle of the McDonald's, was that he didn't bring the older 3 kids any food. He just brought his son, which was the youngest, the child they had together. He just brought their son food. He didn't bring the other 3 kids food. So she didn't want her kids to feel bad because they was going to have to see Lil Junior eat his McDonald's in front of the other 3 kids. What I'm saying, that could have been worked out in a more behind closed door in a more adult way.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
With that said, and a lot of women agree with her and some disagree.
Right.
I've seen this happen. I've seen a man get married and a woman's married. And because he's married, she take him back to court because he has more income.
Right.
And they have kids together, and his new wife or whatnot have kids together. And I've heard many women say, I don't care about the other kids. I want mine and what's mine.
You're 100%
so
right.
My same question to those women, did you agree with him?
Right.
Because a lot of women will say, I don't care about those others. So you'll take money out of other kids now because you feel like you want more.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest. You're 100% right. And what the court system has done too is gave a sense of entitlement to women of that nature, because it feels like now we are, and no kids are mistakes, but the court system has deemed it to now we are covering up your mistake, right? That's the message they're giving to women. So now those type of women have got entitlement. So she won't feel bad for having more kids out of wedlock, right? So now she expect the courts and him to not make her mistake look bad. But the father don't get that same grace. We don't get that. What do we get when we cover up ours? No, you're gonna pay child support for these kids you have with her. And then the kids you have at home with your wife, you're gonna have to. So it's not covering your mistakes up nowhere for the father, but for the mother. The court system has now created a monster and a sense of entitlement to where when you make your mistakes, there's no accountability. Where you bumped your head is no accountability. But the father got to show his bump in his head. But the mother, like her, in her instance, it has come to the point where she feels like, I don't want to have my mistakes thrown in my face in no way, shape, form, or fashion. Whether if you feed one kid, feed all of them. Because now I don't want my kids to be like, well, why he only get? Then I got to explain, well, that's his daddy. And they say, see, then I got to explain all that. But as fathers in the court system, we have to. As mothers, it's created a sense of entitlement. So that's why it needs to be reformed. The whole court system needs to be reformed, man, point blank. And you can go all day about that. But let's get back to this. Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese. Y'all know what this is. This who say that? Jermaine Dupree. Y'all know what this is. So there. Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese. This is him locking arms with Mrs. Coretta Scott King on the way from Selma to Montgomery. On the 7th of Montgomery March 21st, 1965. As you can see, all the people behind them. This was the march, the successful march, as they say, 2 weeks after Bloody Sunday, when they marched Selma to Montgomery, and in his
which is what? FD Reese Day?
Which is FD Reese Day,
every
Selma, Alabama, March 21st, every year.
He must be somebody important.
Somebody important to get a day.
I don't know what it is, but he must be somebody.
He's somebody to get a day. You got to be somebody
every year.
That's right, man. In his hand contains the speech, "How long, not long," that Dr. King made at the Capitol when they reached Montgomery. This is another picture. I don't know the exact date with this one, But when King came to Selma, guess who he had to roll up on? Got to come see the man. Listen, if I come to your house, I got to knock on the door, ring the doorbell. When I come in, wipe my feet off at your doormat. And that's what King did, because he had to come holler at the president. Why would you come to Selma and not holler at the president? You had to come holler at the president. This another picture with King. You see him right there, and Mr. Fred Shuttlesworth. Two Freds and Dr. Martin Luther King right there. Right here, same day. Ralph Abernathy, Fred Shuttlesworth, Reverend Dr. F.D. Reese all the way to the right, King all the way to the left. This is also a picture from Selma Montgomery. You see him to the right, front line. I want to say with the hat. Go ahead, bro.
My daughter Faith brought something to my attention today.
Okay.
And it's going wow you.
Okay.
Now, Miss Rosa Parks was in that front line.
Yeah, she's all the way on. All
break this down.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
This is why I want to let white people know slavery was not that long ago.
Okay.
We all know Harriet Tubman, right?
Yes, sir.
Harriet Tubman.
Yes, sir.
She died in the year 1913, right?
Okay.
Rosa Parks was born in 1913.
Ooh.
And I said, Faith, think about it. Rosa Parks was born in 1913. She's on that picture with your Gigi Papa, and you knew your Gigi Papa. See how close slavery is? And that's his great-granddaughter who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This will let you know.
Right. Right.
Rosa Parks was a slave.
Right.
Who helped free more slaves than anybody.
Right.
Okay.
Well, Harriet Tubman, yeah.
She died in 1913.
Mm-hmm.
Rosa Parks, who's on that front line,
was
born in 1913.
That's crazy.
With F.D. Reese.
F.D. Reese.
And Faith knows her Gigi Papa.
Right.
He was alive while she was here while he was living. That'll tell you, look, if we can still touch generations with people who was living, with people who were slaves, slavery wasn't that long ago.
That's
crazy. You want to put it out there.
That's
so
crazy.
White people who say slavery was so long ago, like it's ancient history, like you reading the word of God or something.
Right.
Come on, bro.
It's crazy.
That's why we need reparation. That's why every House of Representatives, if you're black and you're a House of Representatives and you're a senator, if you ain't out there trying to write a bill for reparation for black people, you don't need to vote for them.
That's
simple as that. You don't care about black people. We can't play the same game that the Institute of Voting was built off. We got to play a different game. We can't play the same game.
Right.
And if they're not talking about helping black people, because black people are the only people who was imports and goods. We weren't immigrants. And immigrants benefit off the backs of black people. Let's be honest. And if you got immigrants in America who talks against black people, something wrong with you. You need to go learn your true American history. But it's because of black people is why every person, black, brown, and minorities have, even the LGBTQ community, have the rights that they have because of the struggles of black people who their people was descendants. We are the descendants of slaves that America with the Atlantic slave trade when it got from Africa. That's the story they tell you now. If we're going by that story, come on, man, you got to talk about reparation for black people. That's the only way you're going to fulfill the 300-year financial gap between whites and blacks.
Facts.
Those are facts. I'm not here to argue people's emotions. If you come at me on YouTube, come to me with facts, not what Aunt Susan's saying and Suzanne told you. Come with me. Come at me with facts. Simple as that.
Fact. You're right. 100% right. 100% right. I can't. Let's see what the comment. I'm not even finna read that, Tris. I'm not even finna read that, bro. Back to the. All right. This is Bloody Sunday.
Well, he said he won there, but there he go.
Yeah. It was fake news.
Yeah, fake news.
Fake news that said F.D. Reese was not at Bloody Sunday, but Jose Williams right there standing next to him was in charge of the logistics, and he appointed Granddaddy to make sure that everyone, they marched double file to make sure everyone was 3 feet apart, because that was one of those ridiculous little laws that if you one of the ridiculous ordinance that if you march you got to be 3 feet apart. So Granddaddy, that was his job. So of course he went on the front line, but there he is before they gathered right there. Matter of fact, did Dr. King talk to Granddaddy before that? Who talked to Granddaddy before that? They said, they said we already lined 600.
Granddaddy talked to Dr. King.
They
said
did.
we already lined up.
We already lined up 600.
Yeah.
We ready to go. So yeah,
he called me back
afterwards. Yeah, like man, I should have listened to Dr. King, but whatever. We got it done. This is him at Brown Chapel. Dr. King speaking at the podium. You see the man in the middle seat. You already know what time that is. That's Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese in the middle pew. This is Brown Chapel. This is the church where they had all the mass meetings. He's the reason why Brown Chapel is Brown Chapel. If you don't know, listen, I know we skimmed through this, but if you don't know, if you want to know way more, please book a tour. I'm telling y'all, man, book a tour, man.
It's not like it.
It's not, and I got to say so myself. You're gonna learn a lot of. You are going to be wild.
Everybody who do our tour, everyone, they leave Selma like,
right,
wow,
right.
I didn't expect to experience this.
Right. Because ours is kind of it's non-conventional, so we don't ride around. There's that. No. We don't do that. We're gonna break it down and we're gonna give you the facts. You can bring a pen and pad. You will learn something.
And we will have the book, Self Sacrifice.
Yeah, we had a book there.
We will.
So yeah.
And if you want to, man, go to Amazon and get the book now.
Right.
But it's a book. It's a must read, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's a must read. Look, when we put these facts out here, it don't matter what John Lewis said, what Abernathy said, what anybody said. These facts are facts.
Yeah.
It don't even matter what they didn't say. It speaks for itself.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? The L.B. Reese was the leader of Selma. He just got blackballed on both sides, but he still stood for what was right. And he was a leader of Selma, Alabama, and invited all those individuals, those people who you know. He's the reason why they were in Selma. And no one goes against us on that. I wish they would, but they know it's facts. And we have artifacts to prove it. Yeah. People might say, "Oh, y'all being arrogant and nonchalant." What I would submit to you and say, look, being nice about anything will get you nowhere.
Who you tell?
Because we've been nice. We've tried to be inclusive, and smile, and you know what it got us? Nowhere. So we say, you know what? I guess we got to be a little strong and be like L.B. Reese or Malcolm X or Du Bois or Booker T. Washington,
right?
And tell the people how it is,
right?
And once we take that approach, some stuff start moving.
Facts,
rightfully so.
Facts.
So we're gonna continue to be bold. Even the word say be bold. You know what I'm saying? We coming in like David. Being a little bold. We're gonna go in like Joshua and take the milk of land and honey.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Take the land of milk and honey. Let me rephrase my words. Yeah. Simple as that, man. So if you don't like our approach, well, I ask you to just put your emotions aside and get with the program and book a tour. Or sit down and have a conversation with them. I guarantee you'll learn something.
Tristan say promote the book. Brother, we've been promoting the book the whole show. You got to come in a little bit early to we've been promoting the book. Yeah. Selma Self-Sacrifice. You can get it on Amazon now. Matter of fact, let me put this back up. There you go. Back to what we was doing right here is Reverend Dr. F.D. Reese, High Priest Martin Luther King, Rap Abernathy, and Shuttlesworth behind him. I want to say, did you say this might have been the funeral of James Reed?
Yeah, I think so.
Think it's the funeral of James Reed. We're gonna see if we can get the facts on that.
It has to be because that many people weren't there
when Jimmy Lee. That's right. That's right.
Because that was after Bloody Sunday.
Correct.
And that's when people all over the nation start coming.
Correct. So a lot of people was at that.
Right.
They were already in the city. Facts. And y'all already know that what this picture is. This is the famous picture. I wish I could show the people behind. I got another shot of this. That's Reverend Dr. F.D. Reese. That is Reverend Ralph David Abernathy and the Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese. Once again, they were arrested this day, I think. They were arrested this day and they were locked up. And this last picture here is this is the day of the first Jubilee. This is the day, this was after Dr. King was, of course, dead. You'll see that's the late Congressman John Lewis. That is Miss Coretta Scott King. And she is talking to the Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese. Man, we passed time. We can go all day.
Yes, sir.
But once again, we appreciate y'all joining us. Appreciate everybody subscribing. Keep supporting us. with all our endeavors, with the tours, the book.
And if you take to it, man, you can stay at our Airbnb.
Yeah.
You know,
Stay at the Airbnb.
Historical homes on Airbnb.
Yeah.
We got a lot of stuff going on. So we got it that y'all, you'll be comfortable.
Do that.
You know, we leave no excuses for you.
If you know anybody that we have a trailer to a documentary, if y'all know some film people, hit us up. We still doing that, trying to get the documentary done. Other than that, we appreciate y'all joining us. Let me take this picture off here. We appreciate y'all joining us, man. Until next Thursday, love and peace.